This week in the garage, we are in the desert. We made it out here doing some scouting. So this is where I got a deer hunt coming up. This is kind of what we've been getting ready for. I got to come out here, map this unit, kind of figure out what we can and can't get to. And it's kind of big, so that's going to be a task. But truck is running phenomenal. Still need a tune revision from 5-star, but even the base tune is killing it right now. Really only thing is I think some like the slow cruising around sort of stuff is where we got to get cleaned up. But truck's running great. Having the 3.0s and everything in there, really nice. Up on front, I haven't run too many times with those in there. I used to have just the 2.5 piggybacks, and those did a good job, but this is definitely noticeably better. I've just been cruising at like 30-40 miles an hour, and it's just doing great. So I got Wyatt in there, we're co-pilot, got him out of bed at 5 a.m., threw him in his seat, and he just kind of has been in and out, dozing off, but he passed out. We're about to turn around, head back home. We got some stuff to do at home, but so this is how I usually have the bed set up back here. Is I got 3 matching straps. Shout out to the guys at Alpine and then Cody for getting these over to me, and probably should tighten that up, but boom, here we go, more better. But yep, got my tub of got some tools and everything in the tub, got some water, ice, NOS in the cooler, all that stuff. But yeah, nothing too fancy. Today's a quick one. Really not getting out of here or like, getting too far out, especially with Wyatt. This is the first time off-roading, so that's been good. So the navigation setup in here is something that a couple people have asked me about, and I'm doing something different this time, which is kind of cool. Got Wyatt right there on the camera, on the baby camera there. So I've got lead nav open on the iPad, and I have Onyx Off-Road open on the phone. Onyx Off-Road has a new feature now where you can map out a route and then navigate it. So unfortunately, my iPad is too old to put that feature on there. So what I used to do is I'd open Onyx, route it, since you couldn't navigate it, and then I would have
64 miles to target.
I'd have lead nav open, and I would go through the night before and point by point make a route. So now what's kind of nice is, since this guy will make a route for me, which is still kind of sketchy, like Onyx, I don't know if the satellite is a little bit off or what, but their routes always do weird stuff. Not always. It's actually really good for what it is. I'll pull up route or make a route on Onyx and then track it on lead nav on the way out. And then once I hit my point, whatever I'm getting to, you convert the track to a route, and now you have that whole thing routed. I think that system is going to work out pretty nice, especially with learning new routes. And then once I have them all saved in here, this is just super easy to see up on the dash where, easy to read, all that. You just have your red line.
64 miles to target.
You have your red line on your white background, which makes life easy. So we are going to turn it around and head back, go do some stuff around the house. This is the stuff that makes me laugh. I want to rip this so bad, but I can't because I have a baby. So we're just cruising. This is honestly kind of the nice thing about having Wyatt here, is that he's keeping me honest with just cruising along 30 miles an hour, not getting into too much sketchy stuff, just kind of, nice and easy. This is a funky little turnaround. I think Onyx wants me to go through that gate. It's locked, so I can't. Which is why when I came in, I did this sketchy little bit that kind of went down and around that way. And I'm now seeing why I did that. And it's just because that guy's locked. So looks like we're flipping it around to go do that little sketchy thing again, I guess. So I guess that's why I like lead nav so much, is because of how pinpoint accurate their satellite is and their maps. Onyx, it's almost like the line moves around sometimes. And with lead nav, as long as I'm staying right on the line, that's exactly where I need to be. So I thought about, maybe with the new Onyx update, I'll switch over, but I think this will work, is Onyx will get me close. And then with lead nav, I can just dial in the track and run it like that. We're cruising, easy money. All right, so quick trip, but that was a good trip. That was everything I wanted to accomplish today. Basically, make sure the truck still felt good in the dirt. Because like I said, I've only really done one run with the 3.0 triple bypasses up front. I know the rear's dialed. Front feels phenomenal. Yeah, see, it was like this. We're just going straight in the sun. But you can't see it. 41 miles till home. And then we will get on with the rest of our weekend. comes to the truck and getting her off road, as far as like what we set up and everything, is front's all set, like suspension wise and everything. Don't really do anything crazy there. I'll plug in for the radio, the handheld. I got rid of my headset just because for what I do, the handheld is nicer. Make sure the iPad's charged up and everything. That goes up there on the magnet mount, and when it gets toasty, we got some fans that keep that guy cool. But that just sits up there like that. There's my navigation. Boom. Radio is on a switch here as well. And then that is my switch lever, or my shift lever for when I flip it into manual. So it's on 2 micro switches down under there. Just a lever with some rubber bumpers, and that is how that guy works. As far as tire pressure goes, you can see we're a little aired down. I got these little, in the door here, I got these little, it's called trailhead deflators. And so what these guys are is, it just looks like this. Basically, you have an Allen screw with a spring. How these deflate is whatever air pressure you have in your tires, when you screw it in, that should push up the spring, and then depending on what you set that spring pressure to, as your tires deflate and the pressure goes down to whatever you set it at, this little stopper comes down and stops deflating. So, got 4 of those guys in there that I'll slap on in the garage. Usually driving around, I'll be at like 35 psi, and then off road, I take it down to like 18 is what those are set at. For the VHF radio, slap the antenna on there when we take it off road, and there's a little cap that goes on here for when we are not wheeling. Fluids are always in there, spares are always in there, and then like I said, we got our cooler and tub. As far as tools and everything go, I keep all of my tools under the back seat, so any size bolt or nut on the truck, I have wrenches, sockets, and everything in this tool roll. And then kind of your essentials, just mini sleds, crescents, screwdrivers, all that stuff. That's in there. Got the impact in there, wheel chocks, jack handle that I need to figure out how to mount, straps, toe strap, or ratchet straps and toe strap, jack extension, spare fuel pump relay that goes under the bed because I had one of those go out on me before, so that's cheap insurance, gloves, and then safety glasses in here. And I keep safety glasses and gloves in there because in here I'll bring my cutoff wheel, my little impact driver, and some batteries, my DeWalt light, basically, and then there's a sleeping bag in there, and some other like miscellaneous stuff. But if I break down and get stuck, I want to be able to have like the bare essentials, just as a precaution. I don't ever see that happening because I don't really get out into really sketchy stuff by myself, but just in case. Fire extinguishers, fluids, 3 quarts of transmission, 3 quarts of oil, coolant, and then brake fluid. And over here we got our jack, which is nice and tight, not going anywhere. That's pretty much it. So judging by the look of the bump stops, we did get a little bump action today, which is always fun. These are still holding up great. I gotta zip tie that. This is just for my rear lights. I gotta zip tie that back up in there. That's all holding up great. Yeah, looks like we pretty much bumped out on this side, I think. Which again, everything's looking solid. Just looking really clean. How do we do back here? We got a little bit. So this is the fun thing about, like I said, the backside's dialed. You can see how much of that bump stop is clean that we hit on. Rear end got airborne, which, well, and maybe that is just a little bit of dust. But yeah, the rear end accidentally bucked it over a little hill, and it's a little bit dusty. But like when it gets to full droop and then compresses back, it really doesn't use that much bump, like maybe an inch or two. So especially on the soft stuff, when we're bombing through stuff and really getting up to speed, it'll pack down a little bit more. but just those big hits, it just eats it up. Okay, so we are back at it, heading out to yesterday. We went and got a bunch of stuff done, found some watering holes, a bunch of really good stuff. I'm going back out today to check out the unit, get all the way to that game camera. I brought all my glassing stuff, see if I can beat the sun and try and glass for some deer. I just want to get to that point and see kind of what that area looks like. So the sun is creeping up there in the rear view. That is what we're racing against, which is all right. It's still super early. I'm like 2 months out before I even have to worry about finding a deer. So if I can take this weekend to basically find all my spots that I'm going to glass from for the next month, that is a weekend well spent. So part of the September scouting project is making sure I'm not getting into anything that I can't get out of. And a couple of these washes look pretty big, and sometimes they're really soft. But this doesn't look bad. It's a little more sandy, but I'm definitely good on like this stuff. That'll be good. So I'll just jet right across there, come down and through here. That's a piece of cake. Don't have to worry about that. I don't know why washes sketch me out so much. I've never got stuck in one. But I feel like in the desert, if you're gonna get stuck, it's gonna be getting into a wash that's too soft and just sinking. So figured rather be safe than sorry. Okay, so we made it out to our spot for today, and I don't see as much deer track as I did at the spots we went to yesterday. So I'm still gonna walk around, hang out a little bit, but I don't know. We will see if we find anything that looks like deer. Somebody way up there, you can kind of see right there. Someone's got like a pontoon boat parked up there, or like a camper, one of those low pop-up ones, I guess. I don't really want to go check it out. I'll just stay over here. Yeah, let's walk around a little bit. Yeah, yesterday, the spots we went to, like at the watering holes, we saw plenty of deer track. Just walking around, we saw plenty of deer track. And then we even saw some deer. So at this one, I got no deer track, and that watering hole is full. So it's not like there's no water there. So I guess I'll hang out and glass for a little bit. I drove all the way out here, but then I think I'm just gonna head back home. Like, not a lot going on. In other news, Bestie's doing phenomenal. Made it out here like a champ. Rear end's keeping up with all the bucking I keep putting her through. There's a bunch of little kickers, I guess, and I've just been plowing over them. So rear end's doing great. Front end is eating it up. Got my tires at 18 PSI today, which is, you know, plenty of grip in the soft stuff and plenty comfortable. The thing with these bigger Toyos, I went with the 37 by 13.5 versus the 12.5 I had before. These things are big pillows. Like on the highway, you can kind of feel it sway around a little bit. It's because they're big and cushy. So my old Kanadi Mug Hogs, the 15.5s, didn't do that as much. But I don't know, she's eating. She is doing great. Engine runs great. Everything's looking good. So that other spot was, I think, kind of a bust. I'll still check back on it every now and then and see if anything's out there. But we got one more spot to check out. And conveniently, this one has a gate. So we got water in there, but no sign of deer other than that. So looks like this one might also be a bust. So I didn't know giant desert frogs were a thing, but there you go. One just hopped and skipped back into that hole, and one is just chilling there, waiting for him to eat that bee. The bee, Mr. Frog. So that last watering hole was on my way out, so I figured why not just check it out and, you know, see if there was anything worth looking at there. But now we are heading back home. Got 72 miles to get there. A whole lot of fun desert. So this is the nice thing about scouting in Bessie, is I can cruise along it's less capable is this is kind of overkill for like hunting, but it makes life a lot easier because now I'm not having to slow down for rough stuff. I can just plow through it and get to where I'm trying to get to, which is very nice. So whenever you're out here, you gotta do these gates, right? And usually, you know, they're just wire with a little piece that you flip over the top and pull this post out. But here's my question. Why'd you guys have to do barbed wire for this piece? I have not seen that before, except for this gate. That's kind of a little harsh. Could just use some regular wire. I think this is a gate too, huh? But the same thing, it's all made out of barbed wire. Why? Hey, Bessie. Tell you what, 5 Stars got this thing running mint. Listen to this. And she just takes off.